Monday, May 16th. I'm Jasmine Wallace.
I'm Jalisa Suarez.
And here's what's going on at Chs today.
Interested in joining the awards-winning Central High Percussion Ensemble? We will be holding 2 training days, May 17th and 24th from 3 to 5 p.m. in the Central High East Band Room. No experience necessary, just come and check it out.
Questions? Email Ms. Pierce at spierce@centralusd.k12.cal.us or come by room 50 at West at morning break or room 334 at the end of lunch at Central East.
Seniors! Senior Farewell is coming up on June 2nd. If you would like to sign up for a little speech to thank your teachers and fellow classmates, Mr. Day will be posting a link to be announced. Yearbooks are still available to you students for purchase. We have 37 books left, and seniors, if you would like a memory of your last year at school, we will be selling them until they sell out. The yearbook is available to anyone who wants to purchase a yearbook. Go to justins.com to purchase one today.
Students, next week on Wednesday, May 25th is the Scholastic Awards and Open House. Be on the lookout for an invitation from the school for an invitation for the Scholastic Awards that will be held at 5:30 in the gym. Open house will be from 6 to 7 p.m.
Sports news. If you're interested in Central High School cross-country team, please attend our parent and student athlete informational meeting on June 1st at 6 p.m. in the Central East cafeteria.
In track news, here are your Division I champions from Central High. 100 meters, Cameron Tarver. 200 meters, Jeremiah Walker. 400 meters, Jeremiah Walker. 300 hurdles, Noel Felix. 4x100 relay, Jeremiah, Cameron, Elijah. Congratulations to all of you.
Every May, we celebrate Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. San Diego County has a large AAPI community with more than 425,000 people, the 7th largest in the country. While we are united under the AAPI umbrella, we represent many different ethnicities from around the world, and each one is woven into the cultural fabric of San Diego. All month long, we'll be showcasing several of our AAPI communities so we can learn more about each other, our friends, neighbors, business owners. But we begin now with a closer look at the history of AAPI Heritage Month and who exactly it honors.
The celebrations here in the U.S. all started with this joint resolution by Congress, approved in October 1978. President Jimmy Carter signed the proclamation, kicking off the first Asian Pacific American Heritage Week in May 1979. About a decade later, President George H.W. Bush expanded the celebration from a week to a month on May 7, 1990. I was invited to attend that ceremony in the White House Rose Garden as the youth ambassador for the Organization of Chinese Americans. I remember how special it felt as a teenager to have an entire month dedicated to honoring Asian Pacific American heritage. Nearly 20 years after that, in 2009, President Barack Obama updated the name to Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, separating the two groups, and that is what we celebrate today.
A part of it is we're just trying to invite as many people to the party as possible. I like to say that people in Asia don't call themselves Asian.
Brian Hu, artistic director of Pacific Arts Movement, explains the term Asian is a convenience of the West. Many people come from home countries with territorial disputes, but once here in America, viewpoints change.
Yeah, when people from Asia move to the United States, they see themselves as like I'm a Chinese immigrant, I'm a Pakistani immigrant. But when you start realizing that the mainstream in the United States thinks you're all the same, they can't tell the difference between any of you. They don't bother learning any of our names or how to pronounce them. Then you realize, wait, we have something in common. And if they're going to see us as all the same, maybe we should stick together and fight for each other.
I'm half Japanese American. My family was incarcerated during World War II.
Wendy Sasaki is Associate Director of Asian Pacific Islander Middle Eastern DESI American Programs and Services at UC San Diego. It's a new office, just 5 years old, that students requested as a resource for support on campus. The student-driven coalition is, in many ways, the same as the alliance formed when students first used the term Asian American in 1968.
It was a term coined by graduate students at UC Berkeley in the 1960s, and at the time there were predominantly Asian Americans in the U.S. who were from China, Japan, and the Philippines.
Through the years, the population has grown more diverse, leading to the importance of distinguishing Pacific Islanders from Asian Americans.
It's because they're indigenous people. Like Native Hawaiian is not the same as like a Chinese person who lives in Hawaii. So by saying Asian American and Pacific Islander, we're giving the opportunity to say like, oh, Pacific Islanders, they're different and they go through something different.
Much in the ways that we look at Native American populations, this is the same kind of idea.
Pacific Islanders are descendants of the indigenous peoples of Polynesia, Melanesia, and Micronesia. The definition of an Asian American is less clear. Depending on who you ask, it generally includes people with origins from 5 different regions. Eastern Asia, including China, Korea, and Japan. Southern Asia, including Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh. Southeast Asia, including Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, and the Philippines. Central Asia, including Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and Tajikistan. And even West Asia, including Israel, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Iran. But which communities celebrate AAPI Heritage Month is still evolving.
I mean, I like to think about it as who wants to be included, right? Like, let's be inclusive as opposed to just drawing boundaries. And we're finding that these boundaries are constantly changing.
I think that's still something that people are trying to figure out. Like, is this actually where we belong in the celebration, or do we want our own thing? And I think people are still trying to sort that out and decide how that goes.
You know,
so
such a broad term.
Yeah, and okay, so why May?
Okay, so I didn't know this. I did some research. It's to mark the arrival of the first Japanese immigrants back in 1843, rather, and then to celebrate the completion of the first transcontinental railroad. We have some images here. On May 10th, 1869, about 15,000 Chinese workers worked to help complete this railroad. They got paid less. They had to live in tents instead of train cars. They had to pay for their own food. And so now that history has looked at the impact of these Chinese workers on the history of the U.S., they chose May.
Please stand for the flag salute. Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Today's weather is sponsored by our track team and their record-setting year. Today's a high of 87, low of 56, warm and breezy. It's going to be an interesting, hot, cool, medium week. Can you believe that? Have a great one. The dad joke of the day. What's a giraffe's favorite fruit? A nectarine, of course.
That's all the news we have for you today, Grizzlies, and remember to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at CentralHS_. I'm Jasmine Zollis.
I'm Joyce Suarez.
And we will see you later.
There you go.